In the space that my father left after his death, the women in my family are gathering. They know what to do, how to clean up after, where the dust motes of skinned cells carrying his essence hide. They smile demurely performing this work, sweeping cobwebs and door frames until white and gleaming, while uncles and nephews left behind stare at limestone broken open, wait to lower the shiny gray casket, before taking boutonnieres fluted and swollen like eyelids, throwing them down and down. But the women keep washing dishes and warming food. They circle the tables wearing gingham aprons, their faces placid and oracular as Madonna's. When they speak, it's to say, "More iced tea," or "have a piece of pie," knowing that the apple strudel and fried chicken we swallow could not be eaten by him in the end. So we catch up on family lore to invoke my father's presence, the men sullen and the women clasping hands to ward off everybody's fear. I refuse to wear black on funeral day, though for family visitation, black and gray trees swathe my arms, immortal souls, webby and veined, wander like a highway map across my chest. When I bought this blouse, I didn't know I would wear it standing over my father's coffin in Bose Mitchell Funeral Home, staring at a permanent grimace I've never seen before. And with his body just inches away, the space he has left grows unfathomable. I'm washed away home to my parents' farm, where the urge to clean, to pick up a broom and sweep the patio, almost overtakes me. I write a eulogy instead, preserving, not erasing, charting the years, unwithered and breathing, through his pecan trees. The women polish furniture and run their hoovers. They load the dishwashers and bag the garbage. This is how they mop up sorrow with spongy jade cloths tossed into hefty bags. And the men not participating in this ritual cart away chicken bones and memories, the greasy napkins and chosen epithets. The men are shy about circling and clasping hands because they stand in purgatory between mourning and acceptance, because they expect the women to make coffee and serve cake, because they must respond when the widow says, "Close the lid now, and please, could you hold my hand all the way there?" The night before my father died, I couldn't sleep. He was already traveling into the afterworld, pulling me along with him. And in the farmhouse where he once set up his model trains, a boyhood labyrinth of dreams, his now gaunt form nudges me through glistening door frames toward the bathroom. The electric shaver recharging there belongs to him, black as a hearse, rotary dials encased in plastic, green on-light blinking. The shaver keeps my father, strangely, sort of alive. In my mind, the women appear like furies, cleaning rags in hand. They scrub everything, the sink, the tiles, the mirror. Here is a space my father still occupies, evidence of their sloppy handiwork, proof that the men have some control. To save electricity, I reach up to unplug the shaver, and then think better of it. Plane geometry. My son is fascinated by circles. When he was 2 weeks old, his hands conducted symphonies from the stroller, air strokes going round and round. What music drove those dimpled fingers? What colors? Then the kiddie toys began evolving. Electronic cars with horns, metal or wooden trains. Descending into the playroom, the devastation was clear. Trucks overturned, a multi-vehicle pileup. Lovingly, he would go to each and keep their wheels spinning, like a magician juggling plates. Even his body won't stop twirling. On rugs in front of mirrors, he somersaults, toes pointed, giggling and dancing. Because my father was a whiz at math, My head revolves with the irony. Could I, victim of my right brain, have given birth to the next Stephen Hawking or, God forbid, Bill Gates? In restaurants, John makes circles with his milk. When the waitress brings his glass, he's elated to see the right amount of frothy stuff slopped out the sides. And there he goes, painting one after another until they crisscross or stack like ancient symbols, miniature crop circles. Clock time, with its dreaded ticking toward old age and death, will be of no interest. He's too busy inventing new laws with my pie plate and biscuit cutter, hat box and spindles of ribbon. As I excavate bowls and rolling pins from the yard, my son chases proofs on his circular path, uncorking a hurricane of stars. Stranger than fiction. July and there's fog on the ground. It drifts over the heads of heather blooming late, past the white and purple stalks waving like luscious hair along the highway. One would think it's Bronte country, except it isn't. Heathcliff, too, is nowhere in sight. The car spins forward, on and on past villages with names like Goodwood and Tottenham. So how do we know it's not the moors? Heathcliff wouldn't scour about for his lost true love in weather this warm. During our picnic by a lake so idyllic it could pass for trompe l'oeil, all I can talk about is that darn fog misting through the larkspur like earth angels. Forest fires, you say, huffing your breath out a little. More fog. I jaunt 3 paces ahead, nodding into a frazzle. Why must I see the world swathed in romance and mystery? My combustibles involve passion between 2 people so hot their flames would ignite, then extinguish just as quickly, instead of ashing into low, smoldering anger. Everybody knows Heathcliff and Catherine were the wrong mix of rose petals, gunpowder, and a thimble of TNT. Then why do I envy them? Because their love never melted into frosty complacency, cool acid with enough flash to make heart-stopping smoke. Later, we hear that forest fires are indeed hurling black clouds from Quebec across Ontario, and for hundreds of miles into Maine and New England. Stubbornly, I imagine this angelic form carrying batches of heather in the smoke-filled haze, unspeakably plain, caught in the snarls of disappointment and promise, swelling thicker and thicker into an erasable screen. The dark. Come in here. It's soothing, worthwhile. Let's slide through abstraction 28 and lick the surface. The color is almost more than I can stand. Deep burgundy, not lost in black velvet like some Elvis painting. I'm more elated by O'Keeffe's purpling dark than a lapsed teetotaler filling a tub full of sherry. This is a place Dickinson wouldn't go, even if her eyes did match the bathtub ring. Here, we can be naked. Here, we can position ourselves in front of Georgia's textured canvas and surrender in delight. The dark becomes us, opening gradually onto a drunken sea. I see myself drawn line by line, and you crying out as your tongue dips in. The Swimming Mothers. It's like being dropped into a fish tank, plastic treasures fanning alongside a school of little darlings. And the pedicures, technicolor fins with lipsticks and headbands to match. I've never been a strong swimmer. My father was afraid to see me floating on my back in a shallow pool. Today, my eldest son makes his first dive, stroking and gliding in water over 10 feet deep. But the Swimming Mothers ruin it for me. They talk through gills, side-mouthed, words so bloated one could drown in the dialogue. Sitting opposite, I see their bodies merge like some malformed sea animal, wearing the specious imprint of Gucci and Versace. Up close, the women are lovely, impassive. Faint flaws lie in the hands of their surgeons stitched with hush money. Grouped together, they become this competing creature, humpbacking on the waves of husbands' salaries and children's test scores. I imagine them later in kitchens sneaking cigarettes, or opening thighs for sex with obligatory yawns. Their kind, exhausted by duty and boredom, by the books unread and resentment swallowed, breeding toward extinction. What she sees. Fresh painted plaster dripping like clotted cream into the baby's crib. The unshaven face of her black-hearted husband kissing the wrong woman. Then the ice trees drop frightening mirrors at her feet. She watches herself break beyond recognition, a choir of Sylvias wanting more, fame exploding into literary ether. Here's a thermometer measuring her fevered writing, a typewriter ribbon like a missing lock of hair, her voice round and round on a BBC recording. And the cause of her anger speaks from Pan in a maze of bee-bonnets possessed by Hughes. He steals her psyche, burned with jealousy, and she sees him stuffing it into the trunk of their car, the one that won't start. Now Plath stands outside herself. This can't be her reaching for scissors and tape, or sealing her children with cookies and milk behind the door jamb. This wandering self peers in with confused pleasure to a corner of the gas oven, witnesses the cradling of her schoolmarmish braid. But where is her fragile soul? Can she still see it gripping mordant love and the insulated shell of dawn arriving?